Here's the problem with what LeBron James did. It's still disrespectful to the previous eras. And there's no call for it. And so when he does what he does on that level, that's him, passive aggressively yet again, finding a way to take shots because inherently he has a problem with himself being compared to dudes from previous eras because folks talk about him. They talk about what he would have been. For example, he's not my GOAT. He's Shannon's GOAT. He might be yours or somebody else. He's not mine. Why do I say that? Because the road to prosperity that he had to travel, I believe going up against the old guard like Jordan and them, they would have stopped him before he learned how to win. I'm not talking about LeBron once he learned how to win. I'm talking about the LeBron that was absent prior to that person that showed up. And if you got to go up against a killer like Michael Jordan and others who would try to snatch your heart right out of your chest, I believe somebody like Jordan would have impeded his path. Nobody was going to impede Kobe. Nobody was going to impede MJ. Nobody's going to impede Duncan and people like that. But him, I believe he would have been impeded, which is why I have Jordan there. The previous eras are what enables you to be who you are. We look at this industry, for example. What would we have been if it were not for Stuart Scott? What would we have been, doggy, if it were not for the Dick Vitales? What would we have been if we didn't have somebody like a Howard Cosell to lean on and to see what he brought? Every single era you point to has a previous era that paved the way. We didn't see a Giannis because a Giannis didn't exist. The game evolved, and as the game evolved and whatever they put in the food and got dudes growing to be 7 feet and run like that or whatever, you saw that kind of capability. It didn't exist in the world in the 70s or the 60s in a lot of people's eyes. Fair enough. But when Doggy brings up Bill Walton, have you seen Bill Walton play? Did you see him in the 70s? Did you see his hops? Did you see his mobility? Did you see his athleticism before his feet gave way? Bill Walton was something special. And so I'm just saying that when you allude to the previous eras, right, and you do so in that kind of way, what you're doing is showing a disrespect that's sprinkled with resentment because you hate the fact that people are able to point to a previous era and talk about what you're not.
You trying to tell me Giannis wouldn't be able to play an NBA game in the 70s?
Handshake, he wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, neither would you. Neither would you.
Giannis Antetokounmpo would have 250 points in a game in the 70s. 250.